It is a point of controversy whether museums should be allowed to possess artifacts taken from other countries. And the British Museum is a notable target for criticism. The Elgin marbles, Benin bronzes, Ethiopian tablets and the Rosetta Stone are among the most disputed objects in its collections. And organizations have been formed demanding the return of these artifacts to their native countries. The Parthenon marbles, Elgin marbles, claimed by Greece were also cited by UNESCO, among others, for restitution. From 1801 to 1812, Elgin's agents removed about half of the surviving sculptures from the Parthenon, as well as sculptures from the Propylaea and Erechteum. The former director of the museum has stated, "We are indebted to Elgin for having rescued the Parthenon sculptures and others from the Acropolis, from the destruction they were suffering, as well as from the damage that the Acropolis monuments, including the sculptures that he did not remove, have suffered since." The British Museum itself damaged some of the artifacts during restoration in the 1930s. There is also controversy over artifacts taken during the destruction of the Old Summer Palace in Beijing by an Anglo-French expeditionary force during the Second Opium War in 1860. An event which drew a protest from Victor Hugo. The British Museum and the Victoria and Albert Museum, among others, have been asked since 2009 to open their archives for investigation by a team of Chinese investigators as a part of an international mission to document Chinese national treasures in foreign collections. In 2010, Neil MacGregor, the former director of the British Museum, said he hoped that both British and Chinese investigators would work together on the controversial collection. In 2020, the museum appointed a curator to research the history of its collections, including disputed items. The British Museum has stated that the restitutionist premise that whatever was made in a country must return to an original geographical site would empty both the British Museum and the other great museums of the world. The museum has also argued that the British Museum Act of 1963 prevents any object from leaving its collection once it has entered it. The museum owns its collections, but its trustees are not empowered to dispose of them. Nevertheless, it has returned items such as Tasmanian Aboriginal burial remains when this was consistent with legislation regarding the disposal of items in the collections. In late 2022, the British Museum had entered into preliminary negotiations with the Greek government about the future of the Elgin marbles.